it's that time again.
Yeah, it's finally that time again, ladies and gentlemen. It's Kingslayer Hoops. I got my PS5, and I'm going to show you guys our first next-gen tutorial. I'm going to go over something that I know my subscribers want to know, and I'm sure a lot of beginners to this game want to know. I did cover how to call plays, freelances, and series in previous gen, but I think I rushed through that a little bit because people seem to have a lot of questions, so I'm going to slow it down this time. I'm going to start by going over plays, which work pretty much the same as last gen, but freelances and series are very different, okay? So first things first, in the pause menu, we're going to go to Game Plan and Offensive Settings. And you guys are going to follow exactly what I'm setting up here. Okay, so on this initial menu, you're going to see something at the top that says Game Plan, and you can scroll to the left or the right by using the right stick on your controller. What you want to do is scroll over to where it says Custom, so that way you can customize all your settings here and it'll actually follow through in the game. So make sure that Game Plan is on Custom. Then if you go down one, you're going to see there's a menu called Coach Settings. You want to make sure Adaptive Coaching Engine is off so that the CPU doesn't change your settings. And that's the most important thing that I want you guys to notice here. Freelance Series Order and Freelance Series Repeat, you can pretty much put on whatever you want. That's more of a personal preference thing. Okay, now let's move on to plays, where it says play selection right here. You're going to see that it says bench plays, and then if you scroll using the right stick, it says starter plays. And the reason for that is because this year, 2K allows you to set up two different sets of your favorite plays, whether your starting lineup is in the game or if your bench players are in the game. So in my opinion, this would take a little bit too long to do in an online game because you have limited amount of time. But it's an option that's there for you if you want it. Okay, so we're going to make sure starter plays is selected. And now we're going to hit the X button. This is on the PS5 controller, by the way. So just convert anything I'm saying to the Xbox controller if you have an Xbox. And then in each slot here, you can press the X button again, and you can select what play you want to set up as your favorite play. And this will make it a lot easier to decide in-game, to quickly decide what plays you want to run. And then over each play, if you hit the triangle button, again, this is on the PS5 controller, you can select who you want to run that play for. Okay, so you can see right here, quick delay slip, I'm choosing Yusuf Nurkic, and so on and so forth. All right, now to set up your freelances, what you're going to do is you're just going to click the X button here again, and then pick whatever freelance you want, pretty easy. And if you want to run a series, same thing, just click the X button and then pick whatever play you want. Now, freelances and series are very glitchy in this game. It's something that I would really like 2K to fix, but we'll get to that in just a second. Let's talk about how to run plays first. How about that? So right now, what you're going to do to run a play in-game is press left on the D-pad, and then you're going to see your favorite plays pop up. You just set these up in the menu a couple seconds ago, right? And depending on what play you want to run, so let's say I want to run quick 2-1 rip right there, I would press the X button. If you've set up 8 plays, so you can set up 8 in total, to get to the second page, you would simply press R2, and to go back, you would press L2. So pretty simple, self-explanatory. That's how you run your plays. And I just want to add that if you're playing My Career, you may not have this option right away. I know that typically in the past in My Career, it takes a certain amount of games in order for the coach to allow you to run plays. And I'm pretty sure that's just for guards. I don't know if you can even run plays if you're like a forward or a center. In the comment section, if you guys play My Career and you know the answer to that for sure, let me know, and then I'll pin your comment. But anyway, so you guys can see here, we call our play, and then it runs perfectly fine. Plays still work great this year in NBA 2K Next Gen. But what I did want to get into next is the series and freelances, which run automatically after you set those up, right? So let's go to the beginning of this game. Now remember, in the menu, we had set up, I think it was C point series that we wanted to run. So you can see we start the game off, and immediately it triggers C point series, okay? It starts running one of the plays in that series. And for anyone who doesn't know, if you're new to the game, a series just means a series, literally a series, of similar plays that will run automatically once you set those up in the menu, the way that I showed you guys before. So it will run automatically, and it's going to be all fine and good. It's going to keep running as long as you had that set up in the menu. and it will run one of the plays in that series that you selected, okay? So you can see right here, we're gonna throw the oop. It doesn't work out, but we get the foul. Basically, the series ran the way we wanted it to. But now let's say we don't wanna run series anymore. Let's say we wanna run a freelance. And for anyone who doesn't know, a freelance is basically one complex play with a bunch of different branches. It's different than a series in that it's very predictable. You know what's gonna happen every time, okay? So let's say you wanna run a freelance. What you need to do is hit right on the D-pad, and then you're gonna scroll over to where you see run freelance, okay? And then you can press circle and back out of that menu. The problem with this game, however, is even though we selected what freelance we wanted in the pause menu, you're gonna see right here, we didn't pick 4 out, 1 active, right? 4 out, 1 inactive, excuse me. It defaults to this for some reason. And the same thing happens if you try to go back to running series. It defaults back to something called pound ball inside, which I think is like an old school way of playing basketball. And there's a way around this, but it's glitchy and it doesn't work all the time. So I'm going to show it to you anyway. The way around this is that you have to call a timeout, or your opponent has to call a timeout. And in the timeout menu right here, you're going to hit the triangle button, and that's going to pull up a game plan menu. And then you're going to hit R2, and you're going to get over to this menu called Offensive Coaching Emphasis. You want to make sure that that's on freelance. Then you're going to go back to sets by pressing L2, and you have to pick under sets which freelance you want to run. I know this is like utterly ridiculous, but for some reason, 2K decided they wanted to make running freelances more difficult. And now you can see after we did that, it's going to run Pelicans 2018, which is what we wanted to run it in the first place. Like I said, the problem though is that every time now there's a timeout, it's going to reset to pound ball inside. So you have to do this at every single timeout. And even if a timeout is not called, it defaults to pound ball inside sometimes anyway. So basically, this is something that has to get fixed. I don't know if the 2K devs wanted to change this on purpose or if this was just a glitch, but this is way, way too complicated. Like I said, I apologize for how complicated this tutorial is. It shouldn't be this difficult to do this. But right now, this is really my only complaint about 2K21 Next Gen. I'm going to talk a little bit in my next video about all the improvements that they've made and how good this game feels. But yeah, man, I've tried, switching play calling onto auto. I've tried switching it onto manual, and this weird freelance glitch happens no matter what. So I encourage you guys, if you have Twitter, to reach out to Mike Wang and DaCzar, who are awesome and they work on all this stuff. But yeah, reach out to let them know that this needs fixing. In general, the player movement in this game is amazing. It's great. It's just this that needs to be fixed. But aside from that, I'm really liking the game so far. I'm going to be back really soon with some online gameplay for you guys, probably on Wednesday of this week. So check back for that and sort of my mini review of this game. But yeah, guys, this is how you run plays, freelances, and series. Sorry it's so complicated. Hopefully they make this a little bit easier soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more tutorials. And until next time, happy gaming, y'all.